Welcome. It's indisputable. I'm your host, Sharon Reed. Good to be with you. We have a lot on the agenda today, breaking down news of the day with me, none other than the incomparable Sharon Reed. Always fascinating to have her analysis. Top story of the day. A lieutenant governor makes the argument that slavery, the 3/5 compromise that individuals who were enslaved were not whole people, was actually justice and equality. Here it is.
The Senate on the Democrat side, they got up and they started talking about how this bill embodies something to the effect of the 3/5 compromise. They were bringing that up. They were saying this is a bad bill because it actually encourages discrimination, just like the 3/5 compromise, going all the way back to the foundations of our nation. I would like to share with you the 3/5 compromise is not a pro-discrimination compromise. It was not a pro-discrimination or a slave-driving compromise that the founders made. It was actually just the opposite. It was a compromise that the North made with the South. At the time, there were basically 13. They had not really created a constitution. They were sort of a European Union-esque nation. And they were saying to the pro-slave states, hey, if you want to count your slaves to have representation, more representation in Congress, we're not going to let you do that.
This is what happens when you go to an institution that doesn't have DEI. There's more misinformation. Here it is.
Now, here you have Senate Democrats in today's American Republic who do not understand that. They think the three-fifths compromise was something that was a scourge on black people. That's not what it was. And how did we get to this place? We got to this place because of DEI in education. We got to this place because you have professors at woke schools that will not teach the history of what actually happened back in the foundations of our nation. Many men and leaders in our nation's history knew how wicked slavery was. They knew that God had created even black people, white people, red people, all people in his image, and they were fighting for equality for all. But they're not taught that today.
Yeah, put him up full mast. Lieutenant Governor, I would expect a man who spent as much time as you did rolling up your arm sleeves so perfectly that you would have studied the content prior. Indiana Lieutenant Governor is facing backlash after claiming the law that declared slaves 3/5 of a person ensured justice and equality for all people. The 3/5 compromise was an agreement reached during the 1787 Constitutional Convention. It determined how enslaved people would be counted for representation and taxation purposes. It stipulated that for every 5 enslaved human beings, 3 would be counted towards the state's population. That sounds equal. The math itself is unequal. And then from it permeates unequal social context, which creates inequality in treatment, behavior. It also provided members of Congress a benefit without having to give black people political power. So by increasing the slave-holding states' congressional representation, the compromise made it nearly impossible to pass legislation that would abolish slavery itself. Another fact that Lieutenant Governor Beckwith does not mention. The compromise is widely seen by historians as an example of amoral peacekeeping between two sides with conflicting interests. It was declared unconstitutional in 1868 following the passage of the 14th Amendment, which granted equal protection and due process to all Americans. Lieutenant Governor, if the 3/5 compromise was actually a guarantee of equality, why is it that once we have our constitutional amendment granting equal protection, now this is just in word, language, and, well, culture notwithstanding. No equality came, but they couldn't have both coexist. So at least on paper, they said, all right, since we say this, we can no longer say that. Governor, what point are you making? Recent remarks from the governor, all right? So they came after an emotional floor debate on the passage of Indiana's controversial Senate Bill 289. This is your political angle, which seeks to neuter diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in the state, DEI. The legislation will allow people to sue publicly funded schools or government entities if they're required to undergo trainings that use a characteristic like race or sex to blame one group of people for actions in the past. Does that make sense to you? There's more. The anti-DEI state bill passed the state house with a vote of 64-26, and the state Senate with a vote of 34-16, and awaits the signature of the Indiana governor, Mike Braun. This wasn't the first time Lieutenant Governor Beckwith, a pastor in his spare time, by the way, caused controversy with his far-right social media musings. In a previous post on Senate Bill 289, he derided, quote, taxpayer-funded race hustling, end quote, trying to stop the legislation. And last October, while campaigning for Lieutenant Governor, Beckwith claimed his female opponent was a Jezebel spirit, and Old Testament reference to a malevolent influence, according to Christian evangelicals, are almost always a woman characterized by manipulation, pride, idolatry, and seduction. But it was Solomon who had the most flings. All right. Let's put this lieutenant governor back up for a moment. Mm-hmm. He has made the ignorant, bigoted conversation that typically would take place inside of racist households a public speech. So these notions, this misinformation, it is not new. It is what they have believed. I'm talking about real bigots for many years. These bigots simply have power now, and they feel emboldened to say it out loud. Well, at least we know who you are. If nothing else, you're exposing yourselves. And for that, we thank you. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
Well, I like how you broke it all the way down, Dr. Ritchie, because my first inclination was to label this person as just an attention seeker. But when you put up his picture, I said, I'm going to pivot. That's a meathead right there. He looks dumb.
Right.
And so I do think I like the way you phrased real bigots, the way your inflection there. He's one, a fool, actually believes what he's saying. And I don't know what to do with him, except he can keep staying in his racist household or going up to, they've got these little lodges that people like you don't stop to use the bathroom, Doc, because you're not welcome there.
That's right.
But he can keep it out of my face, the lieutenant governor. He wants more. He's just bottom of the barrel, lowest common denominator.
And their protocol is so simple. They just have to be racist.
Oh my
As long
goodness,
as they're racist.
There it is.
Boom.
Only the best people, Doc.
Yeah. All right, we'll bring you updates on that legislation and the lieutenant governor soon. All right. What if I told you a black college student, was urinated on by her roommate in the dorm? You would say, well, obviously, the institution is going to have something to say about that. Well, ironically, not if you're at NYU. NYU student claims that is exactly what happened. Institution did absolutely nothing. Here it is.
My roommate urinated on me at 5:26 last Saturday, and NYU sucks. NYU sucks at handling these types of situations. So I just want to detail what happened to me yesterday so I don't forget it. And because genuinely I have no more hope left, at all. During the week, they sent me an email basically saying that they were going to have an escort for me, and they had asked my roommate to not be in the dorm at the time that I was moving out. I was supposed to move out from 3 to 5 p.m. I thought that this meant that they had told her, hey, you cannot be in the dorms while this is happening. Can she just move out in peace? Well, I get back to the dorm. It's 3 p.m. I talked to Insert Report. I talked to the people at the RA desk, resource center. There was no escort. There was no escort that they had specifically planned to take me.
Put it up full mass. Put a picture up. It's very sad she had to detail this. And what you are about to hear makes it even worse. A second-year student at NYU's Tisch School of Arts said the university failed to adequately respond to her concerns after her roommate allegedly urinated on her in their Broome Street dorm. though administrators claim they have, quote, taken the matter seriously, end quote. The alleged incident took place on April 12th when Iloni Belcher said she woke up at about 5:26 a.m. to find her roommate. Now, this is tough to hear, tougher for her to experience, squatting over her and urinating on her arms. Belcher said her roommate, who appeared intoxicated, looked surprised that she had woken up and caught her in the act. She said she immediately cleaned herself, washed her soiled mattress and bed sheets, which by then, quote, smelled so rank, she said. Belcher said she maintained a good relationship with her roommate since moving in together last semester, but said a disagreement the day before may have precipitated the incident. So you have motive here. She said she had texted a roommate and asked her to quiet down while she was on the phone because it was disruptive and frustrating. The very next night, Belcher said she awoke to warm urine raining down her arm. That's a horrible, horrible situation. It's bad, all right? Bad. It is an assault based on the standards of statutory law. It's unwanted physical contact and a few other rules. And I'm sure dorm rules had to be violated as well, right? We're talking about laws. I'm sure dorm rules also violated. So you have a litany of opportunity here in order to leverage discipline against the individual who violated a student at the university while in or on the university campus inside of a university dorm that they're paying for. So following the alleged incident, here's what happened. Belcher said she contacted NYU's Department of Campus Safety and was directed to meet with two officers at Carlisle Court. That's according to Belcher. The officers filed a report and they contacted the New York City Police Department. But after waiting nearly an hour for their arrival, campus officials told her, quote, it wasn't worth waiting for the police. So let's go through this. So the campus authorities contacted the police department. Why? Because they concluded a crime has taken place. So they contacted those who investigate crime, the police. The police take too long to come. Now, it's not worth the wait, according to Ms. Belcher. NYU spokesperson John Beckman disputed Belcher's characterization of the university's response in a statement to the student newspaper, saying that the Office of Student Conduct became involved immediately. According to an April 12th email obtained by WSN, Gramercy Green Hall director Chelsea Whitaker advised Belcher to file a police report herself because law enforcement cannot enter NYU residence halls. Now that's a lie. Probable cause trumps all that. A warrant trumps all that as well. You have a complaining victim of a crime, that trumps all that also. What do you mean they can't go there? If there's a student being harassed by another student, the police can't enter? Come on. You put this in writing? That's silly. There's more. Belcher filed the report the same day. She was compliant with the protocol. She said police initially struggled to determine how to classify the incident, but ultimately categorized it as harassment. After Belcher filed police reports at 2 additional precincts the next day, both classified the incident as harassment, a charge that carries lighter penalties than sexual or physical assault. So why is it there seems to be this reluctancy? Well, we dealt with this in Atlanta. We dealt with this at multiple colleges where young ladies were being harassed on campus and some were being sexually assaulted. But there was this conspiracy. And the conspiracy was for the campus police to do everything they could do to coordinate with local police if necessary, but to make sure that it never became a sexual assault allegation, because those are mandate reporting dynamics. And all of a sudden, your institution has to report that these things are happening, these physical assaults are happening on campus. And then perhaps a parent or two may not want to go there, or may not want their child to go there, or a student may not want to attend. It's a money thing. Belcher also requested temporary housing. Sounds reasonable to me. Your roommate just urinated on. Very reasonable request. Not wanting to put herself in another position with the roommate. According to an email exchange, the residence hall director, Devin Birdram, told her that permanent relocation to another Broome Street unit was possible, but temporary spaces are not available at this time. However, Assistant Director of Student Conduct, Jorge Almonte Flirman, later said in an email that Belcher had declined temporary housing. Quote, "I am seeing how incompetent they're being about this whole situation," Belcher said. "I do not feel like, from my point of view, that the university is helping me. So that was putting my safety at risk and on the line. And they could have handled that so much better." I do have more information. Big question here. Why is she having to do all the work? Why is she being told to go anywhere? Why is it that she has to discuss moving out of a room where she was simply sleeping? That doesn't add up to me. So when Belcher met with the Office of Student Conduct, this happened April 15th. So you got 3 days now, all right? She said staff admitted they had not yet begun an investigation, despite previously saying they would start the day before. Belcher also said no one from the OSC visited her dorm. Nobody collected evidence, such as her soiled bed sheet or the shirt she was wearing. Belcher said that while she was moving out of the Broome Street dorm, she asked the residence hall director to escort her roommate out of the room because she was afraid. However, she said the staff member refused, citing a lack of prior instruction from the Office of Student Conduct. We brought up a breakdown of how much NYU students pay in tuition and fees at the university annually. This is the treatment that $96,000 a year in student-related expenses will buy you. Okay? I have a very simple philosophy as a professor. We are here because of the student. That's a whole lot of my colleagues, they forget that. It's a lot of individuals in administration completely miss that point. We are here because of the student. The student is our CEO. The student is our board of directors. The student is why this institution exists. If there is no student, there is no academic institution. Until you understand, and I'm talking about those at NYU that decided to muck this up, until you understand that your chief responsibility is that of an advocate for students, especially when they're wronged by another who may be displaying actions that are adversarial to the character of the institution, you have to stand up even bolder for the student who has been wronged. We will follow up on this story. Sharon, thoughts here?
I'm stunned. Ego, arrogance, whatever you want to call it, Doc. It's filthy and disgusting. And I didn't go to law school, but even Chat GPT tells me it could be sexual assault, sexual battery, genitalia exposed, bodily fluids. It's just disgusting.
Yep.
It could be aggravated battery here.
Yes.
I will say this, thank you for not having an ego and understanding that your students are the customers too.
Right.
I'd fire everybody just before I even get to the criminal and lack of integrity and moral aspects. Why would I ever want this to get out? That they're peeing on roommates unwanted at NYU. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
This is sick. And by the way, Trump took away federal dollars from NYU. Anti-Semitism. He's like, got to clean it up.
Yeah.
I wonder if you, and I don't know if you have the number of the administration, but I would suggest that if they're going that route, I'm a free speech gal. But if they're going that route, it's time to take away some more money, don't you think? A black woman sleeping and urinated on.
Yeah, the irony is everybody would understand a college student acting out of character while intoxicated. It happens. They are exploring. They typically have some levels of immaturity still in them, especially at undergrad level. What we can't understand is how a system of adults who are in position of responsibility did this. That's what we don't understand. All right, we'll bring you updates. Okay, here we go. California, black college student was threatened by a racist classmate, and the response for remedy is for the black student to leave. Put it at full mass. Hell of a thing. California student recounted how his freshman experience at a private Catholic college was marred by a number of troubling racist incidents that the school and the local police are now investigating as hate crimes. The student, who only wants to be identified as David, started attending St. Mary's College of California. This is in the Bay Area. He started there last fall. But the spring semester, he was texting his parents asking if he could come home more often. He told them that other students had been standing outside his dorm, shouting profanities and racial slurs, including the N-word. He even recorded part of one outburst while he stood inside of his room. Quote, let's imagine for a moment that is your child behind that door, hearing, kill the N-word. David's father, James Brickley, said, imagine how he felt, his fear, end quote. David reported the incident to the resident assistants and campus advisors. This is the protocol. This is what you're supposed to do. But said they took little action to address the issue. Quote, I was promised things were going to change, David said. Nothing happened. One day, things escalated. When he went to the communal bathroom on his dorm floor and saw the threat, quote, kill N-words carved on the outside, on the inside of the bathroom door, he says this, quote, I remember I was rushing to my computer science class. David said, I was just using the restroom, looked up, and there it was, clear as day, written in the restroom. It was almost surreal for me, okay? How do you expect anybody to learn in that kind of environment? These are not simply places of academic instruction. They are places where you learn who you are socially, you learn who you are spiritually, you learn who you are morally, ethically. How can you learn in an environment that is that aggressive against you, against your being? After a similar racial threat was discovered in another dorm bathroom, the university decided to issue a campus-wide alert warning students, staff, and faculty of, quote, a hate crime involving property damage, threatening language, and racial slurs written into restrooms. So the local police are now investigating the incidents as hate crimes. Quote, I find myself being at home and indoors more and more, David said, because I don't feel safe on campus. The big question is, why are they not going directly after the individuals who taunted him, who said racial slurs against him? I'm sure the campus has cameras. What did the cameras expose? Sending out a general email or alert sounds to me, no disrespect, St. Mary's, like you're covering your ass. from liability, negligent retention lawsuits, etc. So after learning of the campus response, David's parents set up a meeting with the school's president, Roger Thompson. All right. But they were shocked when they heard Roger's advice. Quote, he said, we should think about moving David out of the school. David's mother, Tia Honeycutt, said, quote, that was his response to a toxic culture, was to have David leave and let the toxic culture persist. That was his solution to a hate crime, end quote. Yeah. That's the reason why the culture persists now, because leadership chose not to lead. They had no stomach for it. They may even agree with it based on the context of his statement. Yeah. A university spokesperson told KGO that the president offered David the option to move to a different dorm and also, quote, express understanding should the parents wish for their student to transfer. I see what you did there, Raj. David declined to move dorms or withdraw from the school. Quote, why aren't the perpetrators in these crimes the ones that are kicked out of school? Brickley said, make it safer and happier. Make it a safer and happier environment for everybody, end quote. So in a statement, St. Mary said that school officials are working to address the incidents with mandatory resident hall meetings, additional campus patrols, more resources to support students, and efforts to raise awareness of bias response and reporting mechanisms. I think they are well aware of bias. That's why they're being biased. If you're at an institution, you don't understand what bias is at this point. Why are you at that institution? Of course they understand bias. All right, so when asked about the statement, Tia Honeycutt said, quote, I think that's a beautiful, very lawyerly statement they've crafted, but I heard nothing concrete in terms of what steps they are actually taking. David's parents, the school's actions are not enough. They're demanding that the college enforce a zero tolerance policy for racism. It's sad we even have to tell a college to do that. Mandate anti-bias training for students and provide better support for victims. However, the school has not responded to their demands or email communication for several weeks. They said the last email they received from university officials was April 4th. School officials and local police have yet to locate, identify, arrest, or discipline the culprits responsible for the hate incidents. All right, to the family, very sorry that you all are going through this. To the young man who's experiencing this, just understand that you are stronger than you can ever imagine. And this is about their smallness and has nothing to do with you. But you are going to educate them just as you have been doing. You are a fighter and you will remain a fighter. To the entire family, that institution has an accreditation. That accreditation is bound to only accredited institutions that follow a particular anti-discriminatory framework. I would highly recommend you sue them on those grounds. Just my recommendation. That'll get their attention. All right, Sharon, thoughts?
Yeah, well said. I second what your sentiments to the family. It's just not acceptable. You know, I think the lawsuit's more than appropriate. I think the school does have to take action immediately, at least have racist and non-racist dorms. So we could at least, you know, at least let the kids choose, you know, how they want to until they can clean this up. But it's really not that difficult. Okay. And I like the mother, Miss Honeycutt, clock their T, lawyerly statement. Okay. You just don't be racist. We don't need to have all the, why do I have to be obligated to go to the session and learn about empathy? It really sounds like empathy for racists. The school you said sent the letter on April 4th. They should have sent that letter on April Fool's Day because it was a foolish thing to even push out there. Fools.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how this shapes up. I think the parents have done everything they could to be patient, trying to have meetings, et cetera. The student, obviously, my goodness, how do you become an academic champion in such an oppressive environment? But God bless you, young man, for being a true leader. All right, we got more on the other side. Indisputable, stick and stay.
Damn it, they failed us. And if you're not angry about that, Michael, and any of you out there, then you're damn wrong, because you should be angry. Young Turks.
It was genuine. He was mad.
Cenk Uygur, known online as one of the Young Turks, isn't afraid to throw some punches.
3, 2, 1, fade up.
Cenk the Turk Uygur.
What kind of TV station is this?
The whole point is for me to yell and scream and tell you what I think.
It was right out of like Wayne's World.
This guy on this little rinky-dink website is speaking truth to power.
We've been averaging 600,000 views a day, beating most of the cable shows in America.
We're the largest online news show in the world.
We're celebrating our 1 billionth view. Television, we're coming.
More politics ahead with Cenk Uygur.
He knew that the MSNBC opportunity was an experiment.
If Phil and host beat CNN and headline news combined, at some point, they want to give me a show.
Every single year, that comes out of our paycheck. We put it in, and you're saying we were suckers.
When you, as a host, tells someone you're interviewing to shut up, that's going to raise a red flag.
That guy needed a tall glass of shut up juice.
If President Obama's doing the wrong thing, I'm not going to tell you that he's doing the right thing so I can, quote, support him.
He says to me, "You won't believe the meeting that I just had."
The head of MSNBC talked to me.
And they want him off the air.
Cenk took an incredible risk.
We're supposed to challenge the government. That's the role of the media. The Democrats and the Republicans are here to screw you. And who on the air is saying it?
I wouldn't have done what he did.
That if I'm going to be a talk show host, I should be the biggest talk show host in the country. I don't think anyone else does it better. I don't think anyone's even close.
Before you know it, I'll be back on your TV doing a national show. I guarantee it.
Magic. It's showtime. And say 45 minutes. I'm hosting today. Now I know what you're thinking, Jerry, your face is already perfect, but you know what? I still need to apply some makeup. I went through this process, right? A few years ago. When I realized that I was gonna have to wear makeup on the show, I had to go through like finding out what my undertones were. You guys know what those are? I got my MAC Cosmetics. It says SPF 15 foundation, broad spectrum. But apparently what I have is red undertones, and I think pores are not supposed to be seen. I need all these things to be confirmed for me. These sponge things don't work for me. You gotta use your hands. At least I do. That's how the magic really happens. So we're gonna go through a tutorial. How to make the magic happen from beautiful to beautifuler. Let's go. I've already been moisturized. That's the first thing. But moisturization already happened. We go raw. All hands. Pick up. Couple streaks. This is the guy we're putting on makeup. Look at that. Dots. There's some shiny points that generally happen. First of all, here we go. You dust here. I'm putting way too much, but you dust. Oh, get the excess off. You don't want chunky powder. There's like a T-zone, I think, right? Mine is a double T-zone. Because I went middle and another cross. Make sure your nose isn't all shiny. People get on you for it. You know, say, that's not a good point you made on there, JR. Your nose is shiny. You guys are picky like that sometimes. I think that's about it, fellas and ladies. See you guys next time. Bitsies.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. We got a lot of comments. I will read as many as I can. RJL Network, member for 34 months. Thank you so much. It's sad that you report the truth, doctor, and yet no one listens or no one cares. Keep on fighting, doc. Well, you listen. You care. That's the important part, all right? Spectrophonic. 3/5 was a blessing for the white plantation owner. That's right. David Morris says, hey, they argue for 2/5, but I push for 3/5. I'm a hero. Basically the argument. CJ, the accounting student, says, I am an NYU alumni. Shame on the school for not properly handling this. That's right. Gary Cooper, no doubt that is legally an assault. I don't see how it could not be. Well, and so the police saw it the same way, or the campus officials, and they called the police. They just said police took too long to come. David Morris, this is hilarious. Donald Trump would like a roommate like that. Well played, sir. All right. Leo Hollingsworth, welcome to Indisputable. Thank you so much. And Evie says, oh, and this is supposed to be a Catholic college? It's not surprising. Know that this is America with 3 Ks. All right, got something for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish a Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
You're still free! Back off!
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Yeah.
She's attacking me in a way. I've already called the police. She's being.
They can come then.
Oh my God.
That's right. They can come.
Oh, I called the police 10 minutes ago. I'm wearing.
Okay, they'll be here.
I'm wearing blue denim shorts and a white crop top, and this lady is being crazy. She literally just hit me with her fist. She literally just hit me with her fist. You're crazy.
She's leaving. She's leaving.
Get away from me. You are psycho. You better never hope I get again. Or what? Are you hear
What, are you going to murder her or something?
Yeah. I guess you'll find out.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. We have a lot of background. Atlanta Black Star did a great job reporting this. Put it up full mass. Hell of a thing. According to Atlanta Black Star, a Black content creator posted a video showing a white woman screaming and stalking her around a dog park in Oklahoma, and even hitting her at one point, but said the local authorities did nothing when they were called to the scene. A fashion and lifestyle content creator who goes by DJ Morgan on TikTok and J Morgan on Instagram, posted a video earlier this month on her TikTok page showing the shocking confrontation that reportedly happened at a dog park last October. It's in Tulsa, all right? So Morgan posted a follow-up video on TikTok telling viewers how the interaction started. She said she was walking her dog in the park and saw the lady pull out some squeaky toys for her dog, which Morgan said was prohibited by park services. Morgan said the woman brought her small dog to the area marked off for big dogs and gave it a squeaky toy. The noise attracted several big dogs in the park, including Morgan's dog, which ran over and grabbed one of the toys. This is why, in the wisdom of the people that made the rules, you don't bring a squeaky toy. There's more. Morgan took the toy from the dog, handed it back to the woman, and told her she didn't want the squeaky toys to trigger any aggression between the big dogs and the small dog. But the woman started screaming. Another dog owner intervened to tell the screaming woman to calm down. But the woman's tirade only continued. Morgan called park security shortly before the woman hit her and said that a few bystanders actually called the police who witnessed it. Morgan said she feared that responding police officers might see her as the aggressor and the white woman as the victim. So she made sure to loudly call out to onlookers to look at the harassment taking place. You have to understand, this is a survival context that is really only truly understood and contextualized through Black experience in America. I know exactly what she means. Sharon knows exactly what she means by saying, I made sure to basically create more attention to the matter, because even though she is being assaulted and even though she is being harassed, police get there and the script flips because of race. So I get it. We get it. All right. So she says, quote, I am in the South. I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You can call me weak. I wasn't going to risk the police showing up and I was going to appear as the aggressor. Morgan said, quote, they already unalive Black people who are not the aggressors. What do you think they would do if they walked up and saw me in the act of harming a white woman in the South? That means defending herself against the attack. Morgan said she took the woman's license plate information and gave it to the police. She asked to file a police report and sought to press charges, but said the Tulsa Police Department did nothing to address her complaint. Morgan said officers told her the woman has launched similar outbursts in the past. Tulsa City Parks officials also refused to ban the woman from the park, despite requests from her and other witnesses. Morgan said, Atlanta Black Star has reached out to Morgan to learn more about the incident. Now, this is really interesting because I don't imagine that if the Black female would have done the same thing, that everyone would be so relaxed about it. Okay. All right. Sharon, thoughts here.
This is Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Yeah.
You see, that doesn't surprise me. Okay. We had the whole massacre 100 years ago. And the former mayor, G.T. Bynum, I remember saying at the time, well, we can't do reparations. That'll divide the city of Tulsa. They got a problem here, okay? And that's her Black experience in America. As you said, sheer survival mode to call out and make sure you're not, because you're automatically the aggressor. You can't possibly be. And I don't know if the white woman's gonna cry, because then your fate is really sealed then, okay? Just disgusting. This is a disgusting assault. Let's just call it what it is. You hit somebody over a squeaky toy, which was dumb anyway.
If the park wants to be, I don't know, courteous, if there's some kind of, it's not on the record, but some kind of mental illness, perhaps, you still have to ban an individual who's dangerous.
Yeah.
For their own safety, if nothing else. But to have absolutely no action at all, not reasonable, not responsible, and will likely lead to liability legally in the future. So we shall see. Hopefully there's an update soon. We'll bring it to you. All right. Well, the Trump administration lied, but this time they lied on a 4-year-old. A 4-year-old U.S. citizen with cancer was deported. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, put it up. They'll lie on anything and anybody. According to immigration attorneys, the Trump administration lied about why a 4-year-old U.S. citizen with cancer was deported. The child's identity is being protected, and we will not be sharing a photo on Indisputable. Attorneys for families being ripped apart by President Donald Trump's deportations are claiming the removals of 3 U.S. citizen children are illegal, reported NBC News on Monday evening, and even include a child with stage 4 cancer. Furthermore, the lawyers assert the administration is lying about the circumstances under which they were deported. Quote, on Monday, Trump administration board czar Tom Homan said the 3 U.S. citizen children, all under 10 years old, were placed on deportation flights at their mother's request. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said the children were not deported, but, quote, went with their mothers, end quote, adding that as citizens, they could come back if there's someone in the United States who wants to assume them, reported Suzanne Gamboa, Carmen Sesson, and Julia Ansley. This is allegedly a lie, all right? But according to the attorneys, according to the lawyers, their families were not given a choice. And Immigration and Customs stalled their efforts to make arrangements for the children, ensuring they would be sent away with their mothers. Per the report, quote, one mother who was about to be deported was allowed less than 2 minutes on the phone with her husband to figure out what would become of her 2-year-old U.S. citizen son. Quote, while one of the other mothers, quote, wasn't allowed to speak with attorneys or family members before she was deported, accompanied by her U.S.-born children, despite ICE agents knowing the child had stage 4 cancer. You see, here's the thing. No matter what happens, and this is horrible, obviously, heartless, but we've been telling you that about this man and his minions for years. See, that child or those children will always be U.S. citizens, which also means that they have legal standing to sue this government for what this government has done to them. Now, obviously, this is going to come back on the administration, definitely going to come back on the U.S. government. But let's pause for a moment. Let's pause for a moment. Trump voters. No name calling. Did you vote for this? I don't remember you all saying this. I don't remember this being part of the plan. I remember you all saying that you love American citizens. I remember you all talking about this post-racial society. I remember you saying, no, the issue is them being illegal. Well, but did you vote for U.S. citizens to be deported? That doesn't even sound right. It's an oxymoron. How could a U.S. citizen be deported? Deported where? For U.S. citizens. All right. Sharon, thoughts here.
I'm so over the cruelty, but of course that is the point, Doc. It's the point. Yeah. You know, you and I know someone in common, and I was telling you prior to the show that I had to, on this very issue, we're not talking about immigration here or good people who say, oh, the resources we got to figure something out, draining reason. That's not what we're even talking about. We're talking about due process, cruelty, okay? And I don't know what to do with that. You know, this gentleman said, oh, I love what's going on. I love it. You love this and go to church on Sunday? I refer to that because this person often leads with their faith. Is this what you voted for? I'm out, okay?
Yeah.
And unlike Lindsey Graham, I mean, that is enough for me. I'm done, okay? I don't know who you are if you think that's okay. Children are children, but in some people's minds, theirs are born better than another. Their love is greater than another for their child. Sick.
You know, it is ironic that individuals will proclaim their faith. They would talk about their, connection to God or connection to Jesus. But Yahshua, Jesus, was a nonconformist revolutionary who came against what effectively was the church, the Pharisees and the Sadducees of that time. And if that revolution happened today and that revolutionary was here now, he would be coming after those same bigots and idiots as he had to back then. All right. We got more on the other side. Indisputable. Stick and stay. Indisputable is still the fastest growing news show in America compared to CNN, Fox News, and 30 other networks. We tell the truth on Indisputable because the truth is indisputable. We go places that other news media outlets refuse to go. When there were human rights abuses happening at the Victorville prison, guards and members of the community contacted us.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
It really doesn't take much to be a trusted voice. All it takes is to be fearless, report on matters, be an advocate. I called it the bullpen intentionally because it's a place of preparation. We present individuals who may have an opposing view, so we debate. Sometimes we interview individuals because their stories deserve to be heard. A survivor of significant police misconduct and his attorney. We covered this story earlier and to remind you of the horror of one man being shot at damn near 100 times by the police. We take time on this show to showcase the temper tantrums of Karens in the wild. We do this not because we want to see people's emotional outbursts in public, but because these incidents are emblematic of a bigger societal issue taking place across the nation, and it has to be checked. My friend, my big homie, attorney at law, Benjamin Crump.
I just want to thank you, man. Educated, articulate brothers like yourself speak truth to power. It makes a great difference in changing the landscape in America. So
listen, no matter what you do, don't allow the politics of ideology to evaporate the soul that still exists inside of you. They don't stop, I don't stop. Racism won't stop, I won't stop. Systemic bias won't stop, I won't stop. People still need health care, so I won't stop. People still need criminal justice systems reformed, so I won't stop. You won't stop either.
I'm wearing one of our pieces of merchandise. So the funny thing about the Dragon Squad, and that's what our viewers call themselves. That's the name of the group, but every individual chooses their own name. You might have Cincinnati Dragon. You might have Harry Potter Dragon. We have a Grandma Sunshine Dragon is one of those that I remember. These are people that like to have an element of themselves, their lives, what's significant to them reflected as a part of the community. But the concept of the Dragon Squad is just something I threw away as a joke. I was mocking the Proud Boys, these like right-wing groups that come up with a name for themselves that they think is cool, but it's actually really lame. And I thought, off the top of my head, I can come up with something that's still kind of lame, but much cooler. And so I threw out Dragon Squad and I just moved on with my life. But everybody liked it, and so they kept it going, and so we've embraced it. And I think again, this was during the period of the pandemic. I think it was sort of nice to have a renewed sense of community, a feeling that you're a part of something when everything seems so chaotic. And as a result of that, we've got independent artists online streaming, making beautiful digital art of dragons. We've got, we've released a number of pieces of merchandise that people love sending us photos of them. And then by the way, for me personally, people send me, like you can probably see in the background, like a knitted dragon someone sent me. There's a dragon book they sent me, dragon board games they send me. People have done like custom ironworks, making dragon bottle openers. Like the fans are super invested in diamond art and things like that. And so it's great that they send this stuff. Sometime we're gonna have to set up a wall of all of it. But yeah, it's definitely brought the community a lot closer together. The fact that we were no longer in this big studio, I felt a lot more personally attached to people. It felt very immediate. And I know that I personally needed the connection.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. We have a lot of comments. We'll read as many as I can. All right, I think this is Millennia Falcon. Millennia Falcon says, what's the cop's excuse for not charging her with assault? You got the video, you got video and witnesses. Yeah, well, that's the question of everybody. And DeAndre C. there's been a few American citizens who have already been deported. That's right. That's right. And Renaissance Affair, welcome to Indisputable. Thank you so much for joining us. And John Morton, thank you for that. You see the story of Maine not paying foster care. I have not, but I see this and I'm going to look into it. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Okay, well, a Texas cop who killed a man, unarmed man, says, I just smoked a dude. Here it is.
How you doing, sir?
Good. I'm Sergeant Iverson of the Rusk County Sheriff's Office.
Yes, sir.
The reason I pulled you over is you blew that stop sign back there.
No, I didn't. I came to a complete stop at that stop sign.
All right.
Can you show me that I blew?
Step out of this.
Okay. I'm just wondering.
Turn around, put your hands right there real quick. You got anything on you? You shouldn't. Keep your hands out of your pocket.
I wasn't. I don't have anything on me, officer.
Put your hand behind your back.
Officer, I don't have anything on me.
Behind your back.
Officer, why are you? What? Can you just tell me, officer? Please, can you tell me what I'm under arrest for? Please. Officer, please.
Get out. .517 County. Dude, you okay? Call everybody. I've got a shooting.
You would tell a colleague, I just smoked a dude. Put him on full mask. The man was pulled over for allegedly violating a very simple traffic rule. Timothy Michael Randall was on the phone with his mother when a police car pulled up behind him. What began as a routine traffic stop became what you just saw. The officer, his name is Sergeant Shane Iverson of Rusk County. In the moments after the body cam we just watched, more things happened. Randall continued to run down the street, but collapsed face down. Iverson radioed for help and then tried to render medical aid, but Randall died on the pavement. The bullet had torn through his ribs, lungs, and heart. That's according to the autopsy records. After another deputy arrived minutes later, Iverson, then 57, returned to his patrol car and phoned a colleague. Quote, I just smoked a dude, he said in a hushed voice. NBC News reports in the following weeks, Randall's mother searched for answers, searched for them in vain, calling the Texas Rangers and the Rusk County District Attorney's Office. She had no idea how her son wound up dead after a police traffic stop. No one was telling us anything, said Tippett, who was born and raised in Rusk County and now cleans houses for a living. Her first shot came 2 months after the shooting when a grand jury returned a no bill, non-indictment in the case, meaning it chose not to indict Iverson for killing an unarmed man. The second came last summer when Iverson's lawyers turned over the dash cam video after she had to file a federal lawsuit. Nearly 2 years after the shooting, she finally got to see in brutal detail what happened in the moments before her youngest son was killed. Quote, the only person that was attacking anybody was Sergeant Iverson attacking my son. Put him up. The man was on the phone with his mom. They then covered it up to where she couldn't get any information about what happened. Why? If everything they did was in order, legal and proper and ethical and moral, if they were standing up for law enforcement and the son was standing against law enforcement, why did they cover this up? Why not expose the truth? Well, they knew the video was damning. After the shooting, Iverson said he searched Randall's pockets and found a soft glass case with a meth pipe inside. The dashcam video doesn't show Iverson finding a pipe. Randall's body is mostly out of the frame. But at one point, he does mention it to another deputy. It was effing meth pipe, Iverson said. Who cares? That's not why you killed him. If that evidence is even true, that's not why you killed him. Iverson quietly retired. He was allowed to quietly retire after the shooting and fought in court to keep the video from becoming public. Its release has now sparked a backlash in this rural county called Rusk County. It also set Randall's mother on a crusade to get justice for his killing. 2 days after the killing, Iverson set for an interview with the Texas Rangers, the agency that investigates police shootings. Reflecting on his military career, he said he was involved in 1 or 2 direct fire engagements in Afghanistan and at least 10 direct fire engagements in Iraq. The release of the video set off a small protest in Rusk County, triggered angry protests on the Sheriff's Department Facebook page and more. At Indisputable, we stand with the people of Rusk County and their frustration. You deserve better. You deserve better police. You deserve better outcomes. To the mother, my heart and our prayers and positive vibrations go to you. This is why we fight, so that this does not continue to happen. Unfortunately, we don't have enough allies in this fight. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
What I saw in my layman's terms, Doc, was probably premeditated murder. He was looking for this. He was hunting that night, okay? From the way he searched his pockets, invasive it looked to me, pressed his body up against it. He was provoking something. And this sweet kid, and I have a right to call him that because what I heard was sweet. Yeah. Officer, please, please, officer, officer. Time to body slam him, lift him up in the air and slam him. He couldn't wait. But what's even sicker than this cold-blooded, disgusting killer, thirsty for blood? This man's sick. He's unwell and needs to be held accountable fully for it, is the cover-up. Because you can't cover that up by yourself. That mother's baby should be alive. And this is sick. Some people go into law enforcement because they want to overpower, hurt, maim, and even, yes, kill people. And I believe we just saw one of them.
Yeah, you don't get more seemingly unprovoked than that. Okay, all right, we'll bring you updates as they come. We got more on the other side. Is Indisputable. Stick and stay.
What contributions to the progressive cause are you most proud of? I mean, I don't have super high aspirations for a singular role that I can play in the movement or anything. I try to present myself as what I think that I am, which is a progressive man who is driven by I think, well-interrogated and well-organized system of values that I try to stay consistent on, and I demonstrate that that's the sort of life that a person can lead and be successful and be happy and all of that. And that should not need to be done, but there are so many people on the right that are trying to push men in the opposite direction that I want to be able to do that. Along the way, if I can get people to care about some topics that they wouldn't necessarily care about, or that for some men they might think that's not a topic that they should be focused on, That's definitely something that I relish doing. And along the way, I mean, we've been able to introduce people to a lot of candidates. That's been a big part of what we've done. Not all of them necessarily got in office. Probably most of them did not. And a lot of them, you might not even remember their names. But it was great to be able to provide people the platform where they had the chance of, making a difference. Obviously AOC and all that, but there's been a lot of great people along the way.
In the bonus episode for the members, we do some inside baseball. We're gonna look at John's desk. Nice little spaceship here. Nerd. But it is kind of look cool. Who has Legos? Oh no. He's taken apart a keyboard. Who has a mouse pad that's this big? He's got a dog with a nose that you can hang something on. You know what this desk screams to me? Nerd. And that's how we like him. We love Johnny Pie. He's got his own personality like everybody does at TYT. Come meet us all in the bonus episodes. TYT.com/team. David Soror.
Dr. Phil.
Adam Green drop by.
Charlemagne.
Congressman, great to have you. It's great to be with you, Chang.
Your show is a great thing. You're informing people. A lot of the shows that I live on, my CNN, my MSNBC, and even Fox, and any of the other shows, NPR, they are so quick to decide that they know what this building means today.
The one thing that I hate that politicians do, they talk about the people they should be talking to.
Do they have any idea that they're the establishment and that they're hated, or do they not realize that at all?
People are so deeply in their little universe. I think it's very easy to not really question what you're doing.
Voters have a right to ask questions of any nominee, whether they're independent, Republican, or Democrat.
The system is duopoly that suppresses competition.
How is it the year 2024 and we're still like, maybe they'll talk about paid medical? Like how is that like at one level it's like, good, what we're talking about it now. You're like, it's 2024.
And that's always been the critique, that your critique of us is, well, you guys give good speeches, you put out good tweets, but you're not wielding actual power. Now we're starting to.
Yes. Congratulations on all your success. You guys are everywhere.
It's about a country and a principle, and that's what you and I both worked to achieve. And I'm so glad that at least half the battle has now been won.
If you want to go really hear what's going on honestly, you should tune in to the Young Turks.
Thanks for doing such a great job. Please keep it up. Hang tough.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy.
Oh, I like making you happy.
I didn't know about
This
that.
is a happy Anna Kasparian. You're welcome, YouTube.
Join the Dragon Squad by becoming a YouTube channel member. Click the join button below or sign up on tyt.com/join to get access to fun emojis, a member-only chat, exclusive shop TYT designs, ad-free watching, and so many other amazing perks. Plus, you get bragging rights for being part of the coolest community on the internet and help us drive real positive change in the world. The Dragon Squad awaits, so join today.
All right, welcome back. A lot of comments. We'll read as many as I can. It's Just Vegas says, shot the guy like 3 times, then asked if he's okay. Yeah. And Shannon, I think this is Singletary. Did he just aggressively wrestle, then shoot a man, then ask if he was okay, go to hell? Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what you saw. All right, we have an update. All right, so the Democrat who beat AOC for a key role is now resigning after 4 months, understandably so. All right, here's a recap.
Democratic Congressman Jerry Connolly of Virginia was elected by his caucus to be the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee. That's the highest ranking member of the minority party, the Democrats. Now, Connolly, who is 74 and was just diagnosed with esophageal cancer, beat back a challenge from 35-year-old progressive Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez amid calls for a new generation of leadership in the Democratic Party. As Democrat Don Bayer of Virginia, a Connolly ally, put it, quote, Jerry's a young 74, cancer notwithstanding. Jerry Connolly won that vote today. And he did so thanks in part to former Speaker Nancy Pelosi whipping votes for him. Pelosi whipped votes to make sure that Connolly got the oversight job over the young star in the party, even as the 84-year-old Pelosi is recovering from hip surgery after suffering a fall. it feels like a moment of genuine madness.
Yeah, put him up full mass. So in an update, Democratic Representative Jerry Connolly has made the announcement that his cancer has unfortunately returned, and he will not seek re-election as a result. The 75-year-old will also step away from his duties as ranking member of the House Oversight Committee 4 months after assuming the post. It's entirely understandable that he hasn't exactly been energized to take on the existential political fight for the soul of the nation over the last few months. What's not understandable is why he even ran for this position and why top Democrats like Nancy Pelosi so determined to go to bat for him. The Oversight Committee is charged with ensuring efficiency and accountability in the federal government, something that is needed now. That committee becomes more important now than ever before. Obviously, you need some out-of-the-box thinking, agility, and the rest of it is messaging to the American people. In the last 3.5 months, Representative Connolly has routinely disappeared during key moments when Democrats needed visible leaders in front, communicating to the American public, highlighting the stakes of what's happening. And once again, understandably so, he could not do that and undergo his current illness. Can't do both. All right, so put it up full mass. This whole thing was orchestrated, as you know. We talked about it when it happened. And it's not as if Democrats did not have other options. Other options who have the demonstrated ability and willingness to lead. Representative AOC, Democrat, New York, who is a bright star inside of the party, leader in the progressive movement, also ran for the role in December. But back then, Pelosi, from her hospital bed, I remind you, whipped the vote for Connolly against AOC. Now, the whip reference is because, well, it's like it sounds, whipping them into shape or whipping them into submission is what the whip reference is about. And Pelosi literally turned votes away from AOC. There's more irony. So in AOC's bid for ranking member of the House Oversight Committee, she received endorsements from both the Congressional Progressive Caucus and the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, caucuses representing key constituencies that the party needs, but increasingly alienating as returns from November's election show. The majority of Democrats who are currently on the Oversight Committee backed who? AOC as well. So could AOC now potentially take up the post on that committee? Well, let's see what our dear brother Hakeem Jeffrey said
about Connolly. I mean, what can you speak more specifically just to the process of replacing him as ranking member of Oversight? We know that, AOC ran late last year, and should she be in contention again?
So Republicans are trying to rip away health care from the American people. They're crashing the economy in real time, driving us toward a recession, targeting law-abiding immigrant families, trying to erase and whitewash American history, including Black history and civil rights history. They are ending Social Security as we know it. And Jerry Connolly just announced that because he is battling the recurrence of cancer, he will not be seeking re-election. That's the extent of any comment that I'm going to make about the great Jerry Connolly at this moment.
Hakeem, you need to get it together, brother. What happened to you, man? So, naturally, this is not my first time disagreeing with Hakeem Jeffries, who is the Democratic leader. But all those things you listed, dear brother, they're doing them on your watch. So while, yes, it's important to pivot back to Representative Connolly, damn, man, he's not dead. He's just, hell, he's not even stepping down. He's simply not seeking re-election. I don't see why that's so much more important than what we do next, because Connolly is one human being who's simply not seeking re-election. And we're talking about millions and millions of human beings who now are being adversely impacted, and our only line of defense was supposed to be you guys, the people we elected to stand against the tyrant. Yeah. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
Well, respectfully, the minority leader of the House is not. Nancy Pelosi is still that. Okay, that's just the she's allowed him. Okay, to do. I'm sorry, I hate to say that about this, historic politician who could be the next Speaker of the House. It's Nancy Pelosi, and if her name was JOC instead of AOC, and he stood out in the crowd, made a splash, happened to be good looking, and brilliant, self-made man, a woman would be propping him up, like to know what can we do for you, moving out of the way, parting the sea. But because her name is Alexandria, another woman took her out. This has nothing to do with the representative, and I wish him well in his fight against cancer, but he was a pawn put up by hospital-ridden Nancy Pelosi to, I want our girls to be great. You have a daughter, I have a daughter. This is not what I support at all. And that answer was very goofy. Very goofy.
It really was.
Stick to spitting raps from Biggie.
Yeah.
Okay, Brooklyn born. Instead of just saying that. That's when the reporter should say, once he's done, so what about AOC? Okay, right. You're not, just stop it. Trying to shame somebody for asking a relevant question in this time of need. Craziness.
Yeah.
He's not the minority speaker, okay? It's Nancy Pelosi.
It's very sad.
And this is what she's about.
I was actually, a few months ago, I was surprised that Connolly was down with it, to be quite honest with you.
Right.
And knowing exactly what position he was playing for Pelosi and adverse to AOC. We shall see if we get an answer on that question at some point in the future. We got more on the other side. Indisputable. Stick and stay.
Our audience has given us everything, so we couldn't be more connected. When we first started, people would start giving us directions and say, okay, the mics are too large, move them. Turn them into lav mics. I mean, they were incredible. And then one guy walked in and gave us a really expensive switcher and said, you guys need this, and walked out. Okay, it's amazing. They helped us build a studio. They did a $2 million funding campaign for us. And so they really are us. We do this show together to the point where some of our hosts are even former listeners. So when we say that the audience is part of TYT, we really mean it.
I think what the audience also appreciates is especially if they're members, they really get an inside look into who we are, our personal lives, what drives and motivates us. It goes beyond just storytelling. I think that what we do is allow our viewers and our listeners into our daily lives, and we give them kind of like this inside look into everything that we're passionate about and why it is that we're doing what we're doing, right? Like the motivation behind what we're doing, I think is important for our audience to know, and we're not shy about sharing that with them. And it's different from what people typically see in legacy media outlets, where everything is kind of dry and robotic and there's really no personality or authenticity that comes along with it. Oftentimes when we're doing the show, I don't really think of it as me telling them stories. I think of it as us having a mutual respect and conversation with one another. And as I said earlier, I mean, not only do I feel that through the work I do, I'm informing our audience, but they inform me oftentimes as well. You know, they'll pitch stories to us. They'll tell us, you know, a certain perspective or angle to a story that we might have missed. And I love it.
All right, let the games begin. Trump is ending a policy that made Tesla profitable. Hell of a thing. Do you all remember this? Here it is.
I'll watch Secret Service go crazy. Thank you.
I mean, if you actually drove it around, it would really be wild.
Wow. That's beautiful. This is a different panel than I've had. Everything's computer. That's beautiful. Wow.
Put it up full mass. When my daughter asked me years from now, Dad, did you really have a president at one time that while being president sold Tesla cars? I'm going to say, Sabrina, I do not recall that. Trump has tossed more than a few favors at Elon Musk and his Tesla company, from literally holding a promotional photo op for the electric vehicle at the White House, to escalating the acts of vandalism and arson directed at Teslas as a matter of national security, elevated to the Attorney General of the United States, who dubbed it domestic terrorism. But there's one policy initiative of Trump's second term has the potential to completely wipe out Tesla's profits. So Tesla is currently not doing well. Tesla has been dealing with crashing sale numbers worldwide as Musk and his political views and the role he's doing with Doge in Trump's administration have repelled many of the people who would otherwise be inclined to buy an electric vehicle. As Musk's political profile has grown, it has led to an increasingly partisan divide in Tesla's favorability ratings. And the company is facing competition as more electric vehicle manufacturers are entering the market and they have a better product. All right, so here's the thing. You are supposed to be smart. Allegedly, you're a genius. Republicans don't give a damn about the environment, so they don't buy your electrical vehicles. But see, left-leaning individuals do. But you decided in your genius to partner with the most hated Republican in the left-leaning movement for a very long time, alienating the very consumer base that you and your board of directors depend on in order to make ends meet. But you're a genius, sir. There's more. Further putting the squeeze. So the industry, reports in February, it showed that the sales of Tesla fell worldwide last year, even though the overall sales of electric vehicles generally were increasing. So the high cost for many Tesla models is a limiting barrier for consumers. And the Cybertruck, which starts at about 80,000, up to more than 100,000 for many models, has been particularly plagued with safety concerns, quality complaints, and a series of embarrassing recalls. Further putting the squeeze on Tesla's finances is the expected impact of tariffs. Yes, even though Tesla is based in the US, it still imports key auto parts and manufacturing supplies. Trump's tariffs have walloped the Tesla Inc. stock price, with the shares taking more of a beating than most other tech stocks during the market bloodbath that followed the president's announcement. So Tesla's Q1 earnings report was widely viewed as disastrous, with net income plummeting 71% and falling far below even the already gloomy analyst predictions. But as bad as Trump's tariffs and Musk's political misadventures have been for Tesla, it's the president's push to end the emissions regulations that allow the electric vehicle to maker to claim and then sell for a hefty profit. We talked about this on Indisputable. Hundreds of millions of dollars of regulatory credits. So Tesla's Q1 earnings report showed that it had a profit of $409 million. CNN reported on Monday the company managed to stay in the black thanks to selling $595 million of regulatory credits to other auto manufacturers. Let me explain that quickly. Because of these emission regulatory dynamics, states have these rules where you have to offer a certain number of cars that fall within this range, okay, that fall within this emissions range. A lot of car companies don't see the value in doing so. So in order to basically comply, Tesla cars are then purchased so that the state can have their compliance model based on this emission rule. So basically, Elon Musk created deals with the government that provided this framework. Now Trump is going to get rid of it, according to the latest report. He has no way to make money if the government isn't forced to buy his cars or the government forces others to buy his cars. And the only way they were profitable prior was through the stock, which is plummeting now. All right, he's a genius. Sharon, thoughts here?
This genius is so dumb to cozy up to somebody who changes their mind. It has no loyalty. Right. Trump has no loyalty. Elon Musk has lost a quarter of his net worth. I understand he has billions, but if you keep going at that rate, Doc, he's in trouble, okay? And everybody hates you, as you laid out so eloquently. Everybody hates you. You're the face of the brand because you won't sit down somewhere. Last seen with a chainsaw. No, this is not about the economy where people can't afford, they're gonna hold off on the house purchase, the car. They don't like you, bruh. Your daddy even talks bad about you. This is bad, Doc. His daddy.
Yeah, he's a tool.
I talked to your dad, he loves you. His daddy even talks bad about him.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is interesting. And I'll say this, I think he's in trouble now, and here's why. So while it looks like he's losing billions, it's really his investors, the stakeholders. They may not have the kind of access that he has. They have real capital that they're working with, and their real capital is going into La La Land. It's disappearing by the moment because of him. All right, Sharon, always fascinating to have your brilliant analysis. Tell people how they can follow you, check out your great work.
Rebel HQ, love being part of this whole TYT family. And quickly, I know we're out of time, Doc, but I just want to say thank you to you. I know you don't like to talk about yourself, but I reached out to you over the weekend about a senior citizen who is in dire straits. Yeah. And I know how busy you are. And without even, you said, get me the information. And then today out of the blue, I got a response from you that you're getting her the resources and working with the city. And I mean, it just broke my heart and it warmed my heart. So just thank you for being you. After all the stories you presented today, we need you, okay? We need more like you. So thank you.
I greatly appreciate it. You brought it to my attention. I said the same thing about you, your heart. You paused your life, looked into it, brought it to my attention. It takes teamwork, and I deserve no hero cookie. We're doing what we can. Maybe. All of us in this together.
I'll get you some cookies. You deserve a couple cookies. I know you're watching it. You look great. I know you're watching it and doing your little workouts and stuff, but you do. Okay. I said, you're good. Just leave it like that. All right. Well, thank you, Doc. And I appreciate you always.
Same here. All right. Remember, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Take care of the planet. Remember, the truth is always indisputable.